Welcome to Vibrate. I'm Amy. I am a longtime intuitive astrologer and trauma therapist. I'm also a frequency guide and the founder of Trine, a holistic brand where we use astrology for healing as our foundation. This isn't a podcast, it's a transmission, it's a portal, it's a loving energy field designed to awaken your highest vibration. Listen to receive vibrational attunement to what's present in the cosmos, in your nervous system, and in the new earth field we're all curating together through love and frequency. Let these transmissions move through your body, awaken your soul being, activate your life codes, and guide you home to wholeness and to your place in the everything. If you're ready to go deeper, you can join the temple at trine-healing.com or text the word vibrate to 720-927-7722. This will be featured in the show notes as well. Let's begin. Before I jump into the heart of this podcast episode, I just wanted to give a little bit more of a framework for what is to come in this episode and why I'm so casual, so unpolished, so unedited. I am so super real. Part of my authentic code is to just show up in present moment connection and attunement. And I'm a Sagittarius rising, so I do not enjoy spending very much time planning or articulating over really specific details to how things look and how they're received. I just want to give you my authentic self, talking casually, intuitively, kind of channeling and being in a conversation with you. So I hope you can appreciate the style here. And another thing I want to do with my podcast episodes is bring in some more information that is oftentimes just shared in smaller, tighter circles. My students, people getting readings with me, my text listserv that I send messages to, my Instagram followers. I'm trying to bring more bridging between the platforms, but honestly, this is such a labor of love. And pretty much as a therapist and a mom, all I do is a labor of love all the time. So I also have to take care of myself. So what I'm doing is sort of double purposing some of the things I've already recorded because I do not sit in front of a computer very often in my life by design. Okay, so enjoy the details in this podcast episode, and I really hope that you can use this beautiful, powerful, amazing transiting time in our cosmos to focus on love frequency, connecting to your soul and your intuition, the action verb of hope, and sticking the course when things are hard so that we can hopefully all work together energetically in the quantum field to raise the vibration so that everyone here on this planet can experience love and wholeness and connection and security. That's the goal. Take care.
Happy new moon in Libra tomorrow morning. Pardon my location. I am juggling 21 parent-teacher conferences this week. Talk about balance, Libra season. So I'm sitting under a parking light that I hope is enough light that you can see my face while I talk. I don't have a screen to share with you tonight for the chart because of my location, but I am always happy to talk astrology wherever I am. So, all right, what are we talking about? Anytime there is a new moon, we're always talking about a seeding point, a beginning point, a quiet inward reflection point, right? So what's different in this pattern that we're in this kind of 18-month cycle where the new moons happen late in the sun season, and it feels different. It doesn't have the natural flow of the beginning kind of vibe that new moons carry inherently. So it's kind of, we're still in this kind of off feeling where it's like, are we really starting something now? Aren't we just ending something? It has this kind of different feel. And this also means that the new moons for the next while, next year, little over a year, are going to be happening in the late degrees of the sign where they're happening, which is also an interesting thing because it's like the moon has already, well, actually the sun has already collected sort of the entire seasonal season of that energy. Like it's gone through all the early degrees and the mid degrees of that zodiac sign and kind of collected the themes and collected the energetics to then sort of like land softly on the ground. I think of it as on the ground with the new moon in order to kind of bring in that, it's like, I think of it like the sun and the moon are grounding their energy together in a reflection point. So we think of the zodiac sign, the themes that are kind of held and taught through that sign, the wisdom of that sign. And the wisdom of Libra has to do with inner peace, a sense of harmony of your being and harmony relationally, harmony in your space, the feeling of balance, balancing yourself inside and out, balancing exchange with others. Like on a lower vibe, it's kind of like codependency, to kind of explain it in that way. So in the late degrees, it's the wisdom in those themes. How do you carry forward the wisdom that you that you carry around finding your own inner peace in totally insane times on the planet, and then start new, the new moon, toward the next phase until we get to the next new moon. And what happens is the sun moves very soon into Scorpio. So this has this Libra wisdom. It's like we just graduated from Libra so that we can bring our new intentions into the early days of the sun in Scorpio, or what we call Scorpio season. So as we head towards Scorpio season, it's really coming into our emotional wisdom, our intuition. It has to do with being in flow. It has to do with understanding the depths of things, like really getting into the complexities and the excavation of the subterranean energies, the psychology, the things that are beneath and before what we see and feel now. It can be an investigation energy or a discovery energy, and it really is a transformation energy. One of my favorite archetypes that connects to Scorpio season is the rising phoenix. So whatever you've been through, there's this like way that you can bring this new moon, intention setting time, into how do you want to transform into greater levels of your wholeness or into higher vibrations of your soul frequency. Okay, we also look at what are the other planets doing right now? What's connected to the new moon directly? What are the other big transits happening around this time? It's sort of like the quality of the time, the space weather that's here right now, and the moon like brings it home, brings it personal to us. So a huge energy that's happening is that this new moon at 28 degrees of Libra is happening across from Chiron. There's been a lot of Chiron activity getting activated with recent transits. Chiron is at the late degrees of Aries. And Chiron is wanting us to heal our wounds through wisdom, patience, trust, medicine from the earth, sacred spiritual process for healing, not just like popping a pill type of healing, but like actual true healing. Like if you think about how a wound heals, how the layers of the skin repair themselves, like Chiron loves that kind of slow process of letting the natural healing take place. And so Chiron wants us to be patient. I'm trying to pick up the other energy. There's like so many mixtures of energy that are here right now. Chiron comes from the time of like earth medicine, like traditional herbs and sunlight, and you know, that like back to the earth, back to nature. And so there's like a patience and an analog quality and just like a listening, paying attention to the seasons is something that Chiron loves. We're just here in Colorado. I'm gonna cry. We just had the first freeze and I lost my dahlias, my babies that I've been raising all summer. Oh my gosh. It's a huge grief process for me. So, but there's also, of course, the grief comes first and then comes the surrender and the trust. And so I think I'm just sharing my personal experience of that process as we let go into fall here in the Northern Hemisphere. where if we're in a temperate seasonal place. And so there is like this letting go that Chiron acknowledges for us. And the letting go comes from, it's happening in the sign of Aries, where Chiron is and has been for many years. Chiron will be moving next year, by the way, into Taurus, which is going to be a whole, probably its own episode. But Aries wants us to take charge, initiate, reinvent ourselves. It's very much about strong self energy. Like, who is the primary energy directing your awareness? How are you self-reflecting? How are you self-identifying? How are you self-initiating? Those are questions that Aries wants to ask you. Aries is a fire sign. So when I picture Chiron in Aries, I just picture I love working with Chiron. I actually like work energetically with him. Like, he comes to me sometimes in the Reiki circles and things, and like brings medicine and brings ideas. And anyway, I picture him with like several different sort of cauldron, like slow cooking, low simmer heat broths and recipes, and yeah, I don't really know what he's making in there, but that's how I think of him in Aries. Like, that's the kind of fire that Chiron works with in Aries, is like a slow simmer. Not like, if Mars is in Aries, it's like we're shooting fireballs or something. But the Aries fire that Chiron brings is just like this slow heat. It has so much patience with it. But I've been noticing a lot of owl medicine lately, in a number of the groups that I am either leading or participating in. There's like, everyone is seeing and connecting with owls. And to me, that's somehow that's a new moon in Libra, opposing Chiron and Aries energy. Like, an owl brings to us perspective, that same kind of patience, that just like nocturnal quality of sitting in the stillness, sitting in the quietude, waiting for the right moment. That kind of energy. I was on my sunrise walk this morning and the sky was still black, like black as night still. I was out there early, and I just felt the presence of an owl. And I looked up, and I mean, you could barely even see him because it was so dark. And there was an owl. I think I put the picture on my stories. I think I did that today. Anyway, okay, what are some other things happening? There's been some squaring energy. There's a Cardinal T Square. So the Chiron new moon, the moon and the sun in Libra opposing each other, is being squared by Jupiter in Cancer. So all three of those zodiac signs are cardinal signs, which have to do with beginnings, initiation. And the T square basically means there's like a cross in the wheel and it's missing one point. So there's just like a T square, triangular energy. And a T square is extra tension. Like, whatever's happening in your world, there's a potency and intensity, a tension, a sort of like the rubber band's about to snap, or I can't take it anymore, or it's the last straw kind of energy. And that's really here and present for us personally, especially if this is hitting your chart directly. If you have anything in the late degrees, let's just say the last decan, 20 to 29 degrees of the cardinal signs, Capricorn, Aries, Cancer, Libra, you probably are really feeling this. If you don't, good for you, but it's happening to the whole collective as well. So it's something that we're all sort of dealing with and working with, like get the feeling of getting to my breaking point. You could break down all those energies and really look at it in your chart and understand it deeper. I'm not going to go into all of that in this little quick video because I do want to get to the Reiki moon circle, which yes, I am still going to do, even though I'm sitting in my car outside of parent-teacher conferences. But like my teacher Purnima says, you take Reiki on the go. Let's see, what else do I want to tell you? Some positive things, some lovely things are that Jupiter is still in Cancer. That's just like always good news. So even though Jupiter has been squaring this moon and the sun, Jupiter squares are not as hard and tense as squares from more challenging planets. So that's positive. Venus has moved into Libra, which is her home territory. She loves Libra land, and she just wants to like wabi-sabi the house and make everything amazing and beautiful and harmonious and balanced. That's lovely. I love Scorpio season. Scorpio energy is going to trine the water signs, Cancer and Pisces. So it's going to give support to if anything that you have in water signs. Um, I find this time of year there's like more psychic quality. There's more dream healing. There's just, you can just access, they say the veil is thin. That's why Samhain and Halloween and Dia de los Muertos are this time of year, because we really can connect through the veil. And then to get a little more out there, I'm just finding this fascinating. I'm trying not to have big stories about this or be like sensational, but I am definitely curious about and somewhat occasionally tracking this interstellar object that is careening through our solar system from another solar system, 3i Atlas. And there's a lot of people talking about it's this, it's that, it's freaking aliens, it's whatever. But what it is it's new. It's new. It's bringing in a new concept to our consciousness that we've never had before. It is something that we've never seen. It's behaving in ways that we've never seen before. So we know the energy of it relates here on the planet. This is how we see astrology. When we kind of discover a planet or an asteroid or something, we see it as the way in which we discover it, and the energy that it brings also is probably the energy that it carries. So I'm seeing 3i Atlas as a plot twist, a surprise, a shift in consciousness, an opening of our minds, a potentiality, like, what? How is this thing even here? So there's a curiosity with it. I don't get like a good or bad, I'm not like judging the energy as like a good or bad thing, but I do see it as like a wake up call, sort of ish, or like an awakening of consciousness. Definitely a plot twist. If you have not yet had your plot twist, I feel like a lot of us already have in the last like maybe like 9 days, I would say. It's definitely coming, and that's not to be scary. There's plot twists all the time. The only constant is change. But there's just, have your tools, have your nervous system tools handy for grounding and centering yourself. I think a lot about centering with Uranus and Gemini as a big, huge astrological change this calendar year is there's no footing. Like, we're just sort of flying, and we literally are literally only just flying through space always. So the idea of like the centrifugal force at your central channel and coming into a centralized connection there, like knowing where your energy is and directing it and driving it from within yourself. So that's kind of all I want to say. I do want to drop into the meditation now. Our meditation is always anywhere from like 10 to 15, sometimes 20 minutes long. You can do this wherever you are just by closing your eyes and tapping in. We have a large group of people, many of whom do not come to the Instagram live portion of this, who are also dropping in simultaneously to receive and work with the Reiki energy, which has its own intelligence, its own healing intelligence. So you can just take this in as a wave of warmth and healing energy and just let yourself intuitively work with that energy. You can invite an intention if you'd like. The actual new moon, by the way, is tomorrow morning. So we're like still heading into that energy. We're heading toward that energy. I will be doing, we always do our Reiki moons for full moons as well. So we'll be doing another one in a couple of weeks. I don't always come on here for the full moons. It just depends on when I can make time to do this. But you can always text us to join the list where we send out the information about when we do the Reiki moons and when I do my lives and all the other astrology offerings that I do. You can text the word connect to 720-927-7722. I'll put that in the description. And you can reply with the word astro, and that will get you on the more astrologically oriented list. I do have some really cool offerings coming up. There's a couple classes I want to do in Scorpio season that I haven't yet even listed anywhere, but they're going to have to do with your psychic gifts, as well as one called Generational Roots that I do every year that's like ancestral lineage clearing and healing. And I think I'm going to do these more as like energy school type layers, less so the astrology. I have a really beautiful year-long container coming up that's going to be meeting seasonally. It's called The Temple. You can find all this stuff somewhere. I don't know where I have it. I'll put it in the description, and because I want to get into the Reiki, and I don't want to get into looking where all these links are. And I'm going to be doing astrology for the year ahead soon for 20, because we're already there. 2026 is here. So that is going to be a wild. We're still in a transitional year. So I think there's a lot of really good information you can get from the energy, weather, in the planets, because there is no compass for how the world is shifting and how things are changing, but there's always the planets. And I think that it's going to be really supportive to do that class looking ahead for next year. You get a little journal with your chart in it, and you can learn exactly where all the energies are going to be working with you directly. So, I'm going to eventually get it together. Actually, I have a training retreat coming up. I train therapists to work with ketamine, and it's so sweet and beautiful. I love the training retreat. It's once a year that I do it. Although this year I might end up doing one in late February because there are some people who couldn't do the fall dates. So if you are a therapist and you're interested, reach out to me on that too. But my whole point in bringing that up is that I'm very dropped in and focused on that energy. I'm really in the medicine already, so I don't know how organized I'll be sharing all these details until mid-November probably. But you can reach out. If anything I said you're interested in and you want to reach out, please do. And otherwise, happy new moon. Keep going out there. Take care, everybody.
Thank you so much for joining me today at Vibrate. I'll be back soon with energy forecasts, practical tips, transmissions, and channeled messages to support you on your path. To help the field expand, please consider sharing, liking, and subscribing, and explore my astrology workbook, my offerings, or join the temple at trine-healing.com. Until next time, remember you are the signal you've been waiting for.